Hey everybody, welcome to Facebook Live. This is the Director's Edition, so it's not just admissions, it's also orientation and also housing. My name is Jordan Stevenson. I'm the Director of Student Recruitment.
I'm Donald Coleman, Director of Orientation Transition Programs.
Chris Bruno, Director of Customer Service and Operations for Housing and Residence Life.
And winner of the longest title today.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting the full-on title.
I'm sorry.
It hit me.
We had to let him know.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Yes. Yeah. Real official on the front end. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've all been joking this whole time, getting ready to do this Facebook Live of what we're calling this. So it's like the three bearded directors. There's lots of other names that we're throwing around that we're not going to share with you.
I think it's just called the Director's Cut. Right?
I like that.
Maybe the extended edition?
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
have no idea what the other version is. You
Right.
just get the director's cut.
Yeah.
We're going to be here for 8 hours. Buckle in.
Yeah.
A lot of commentary, all from Chris. So, okay, cool. Well, we all three have news from the nest. So we're going to share all of our news from the nest. Sorry, I'm giggling because I'm thinking about some of the names we were using earlier. Anyways, moving on. News from the nest. Okay, so I represent admissions. Hello. Welcome to today's Facebook Live. If this is your first time and you don't know who I am, so I get to work in admissions. And we have some big stuff going on. Number one, deadlines are coming up for summer and for fall. Final deadline for summer, June the 1st, no matter your student type. And then for fall, deadline for freshmen, June the 1st. Deadline for everybody else that's not dual enrollment already passed. But deadline for everybody else to apply is June the 12th. So you got a little bit of time, but not a lot of time. Don't delay, don't put it off. And what I love about these when I usually talk about deadlines, it's not necessarily, if you're on here watching, it's probably because you have applied, now you're curious about all these other things you need to do. But what I want you to do is tell your friends. I want you to tell your neighbors. I want you to tell the people that you're 6 feet apart from in the grocery store all the deadlines that are coming up for Kennesaw State. So that's why we let you know, right? Because you're already in the know, you're watching Facebook Live. But now we're telling you about all this cool stuff. Number two, this is big. If you're out there and you have not filled out a FAFSA yet, you know who you are, okay? So let's be honest, right? You know you haven't filled out a FAFSA. You're sitting on your hands. You're watching Facebook Live right now. You could be dual screening this, filling out your FAFSA. Do not continue to delay on your FAFSA, all right? This is how we and every other university out there that accepts federal aid through the Department of Ed, there are some that don't, but every regionally accredited institution out there is taking federal financial aid from the Department of Education. You have to fill out a FAFSA to qualify, okay? So even, this is what I've always said, and this is very relevant again now, thank God for The Last Dance, but I used to always say, even if you're Michael Jordan's kids, and I realized people stopped knowing who Michael Jordan was, which broke my heart. But anyways, so now you know who Michael Jordan is because you've been watching The Last Dance. So even if you're Michael Jordan's kids and have oodles of money, you should still fill out the FAFSA. Fill it out. Just stop putting it off, okay? That's it. That's my call to you. We've already passed our priority deadline to fill it out. So at this point now, you're late. Fill it out. Get it turned in. Then you got that weight off of your shoulders. Boom. Easy. Okay. If you are dying to experience campus, like Chris and Donald and I have today because we're on campus, then you need to, one, you can show up here and walk yourself around if you'd like. Kennesaw or Marietta, we're open just to walk around. But then two, we have this really cool interactive virtual tour. Brand new, I promise you, better than anything you've ever seen on any other college website. So do ours or do ours last. I don't care how you do it, how you want to judge things. But check out our interactive virtual tour. It is incredible. Go to admissions.kennesaw.edu, click on the virtual tour. Boom. You can also go to visit.kennesaw.edu, click on the virtual tour. I think we're going to drop the link for the virtual tour here in the Facebook Live chat as well. But check it out. It is brand new. It's only been out for a couple of weeks now, and it is super cool. We have this really neat thing that we participate in every year called Declaration Days. So if you have yet to, you're an admitted student for fall 2020, and you've yet to declare that you're coming to KSU, you need to go to declarationdays.com. I think we're going to drop that link there in Facebook Live as well. But declarationdays.com, follow the instructions, get yourself a really cool declaration picture. I've seen super cool pictures. One young student coming to us from Lasser High School had this really cool black and gold smoke. I asked her where she got this smoke from. So like live on an Instagram Live, so it's not like she could respond to me. And I'm not going to be creepy and go like direct message her and say, where'd you get that cool smoke from? But anyways, it's really neat. And she ended up being highlighted by Cobb County School District. And so anyways, there's people out there doing cool things on trampolines and then doing like wings behind their back.
It's almost like a gender reveal for some people, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's like, what college am I going to have? It's KSU.
Somebody should get a live owl and then release it.
Yeah.
Catch a live owl and then release it.
Not it.
Okay, that's it. That's a good, what is that? What am I? A challenge? Right?
Challenge.
Am I challenging you? Okay.
Just don't hurt the
Legal
owls, please.
disclaimer. This is Jordan saying this, not the university. So catch yourself a live owl, release it. That's a great reveal of where you're going to school. Okay, and you probably do it in the daytime so people can see that it's an owl and not like a bat or something. All right, so Declaration Days, the contest ends tomorrow. I don't know what time. I don't know if it's like 5 p.m., right? I can't really tell you.
What if it's 11:59 p.m. tonight?
It's not. It's
not?
not. I
Okay.
do know that much.
All
Thanks,
right.
Chris. I bet declarationdays.com will tell you what time is like the last time you can post. And it's probably 11:59. Also, the company's based out of Oklahoma, so it might be on Central Time. Just a heads up. Anyways, go check it out. Declarationdays.com and declare. We are number one in the country right now. 6 weeks in a row, we're number one. So we want to win. We've been in the top 5 the last 2 years. We're beating schools like Florida State, Alabama, Oklahoma, West Virginia. So we want to win. We want to show them who's boss. Black and gold, proud and bold. So there you go. Okay, that's all my news from the nest. So I'm turning it over to these fellas.
All right, pass it on to me. All right, so I'm Donald Coleman, Director of Orientation Transition Programs, and I have news from the nest regarding new student orientation, so buckle up. So new student orientation. If you are currently signed up for a new student orientation date, you are all set. The number one question we have been receiving, because we are moving virtually due to COVID-19, and everything moving to remote summer classes, so you will be having a virtual experience. So if you've already signed up, you don't have to do anything else. Your day is still your day. So I just want to address that first. So for students who are signed up, you will receive an email 2 weeks prior to your orientation date. And that email will be what we call the pre-orientation checklist. In that email, you will receive information on how to go ahead and have a pre-advising session with your advisor. You will also receive our pre-orientation module. So the pre-orientation module will have all the information you need to know about campus to get you ready with links and resources. And then on your actual orientation day, you'll have a live orientation event. So you'll receive more information about that also, but that day starts around 8 o'clock. We're gonna have people start checking in, and then the program starts at 9 o'clock. And it's gonna be live. We're gonna be via technology. We're gonna be on Zoom. You have presentations from campus partners. You have an opportunity to meet with the orientation leader who are very excited. Shout out to all my orientation leaders who've been holding on strong, and so they're excited to meet you. And then you'll have an opportunity to meet with their advisor again for a group advising during that day. And then during the honor sessions, if you're honor students, you hear from the honors program, and then you'll be able to register for your classes. And we'll have advisors on standby to be able to assist you while you're doing that. And then after that orientation live day, we have what we call in live with new student orientation. Throughout the summer, we'll have sprinkled in additional times for you to meet with campus partners to learn a little bit more about resources and things to get you ready for the first day of classes. So we are so excited to get started this summer. Our first orientation is coming up in a couple of weeks. So go ahead and sign up. If you have not signed up for orientation, do so. Go ahead and sign up. You just want to go ahead and make sure you just go to OwlExpress, go to the Student Services tab, and then click on Orientation Sign Up. From there, you'll see all the dates that are available for you to sign up. And it's based on the major, so you'll see the dates that are available. You sign up for that, and then you'll be all set, and you'll start receiving information related to that. So my number one thing I'll always tell students is start checking your Kennesaw State email every day. Just check it once a day, see if something is in there for you. Make sure you're going through all the mail just to see, and that's where we put all information for you. So make sure you're checking that email. If at any point you're like, I'm confused, I don't know what to do, where do I turn to? go to KSU Orientation at Kennesaw.edu. Email us, KSUorientation@Kennesaw.edu. My staff is always answering emails. We're ready to answer any questions that you may have, and we answer things immediately. So just email us if you have any concerns about orientation. I'm going to pass it over to Chris.
And I think you did this move, right? Yeah, I've been taking some dance lessons during quarantine, but I'm alone, so it's kind of hard to do. So this is the Housing and Residence Life news from the Nest section. So we are right in the middle of room selection for those of you out there who have already secured your room for fall 2020. Congratulations. We have had about 3,800 students pick their room for fall 2020 so far. We still have rooms available, so if you've heard somewhere that we are out of beds for first-year students, that's incorrect information. We know that there are some Facebook groups out there that are tracking and parents are talking to one another. We still have beds available. On the Kennesaw campus, we have beds in University Village Suites. We have beds in University Village available that are those double rooms. In Marietta, we have rooms in Hornet Village available. For upper class students, we are on a wait list already. We hit that a couple weeks ago. We have about 400 students on a wait list, and as rooms are canceled, we're booking them onto those rooms and giving them a call and sending them an email. So yeah, room selection is in full swing. There's a committee of people who have been formed to talk about move-in. We're just under 100 days away from the start of school for fall 2020. So we're putting all the pieces together of what move-in might look like with socially distanced plans in place and keeping everybody as safe and secure as we can. We might be spreading things out more than we have in years past just to ensure student and family safety as well as our staff. And then the most exciting thing is we have a podcast now. This has been a project of ours for the last 6 months. It's called Live Your Nest Life.
I love that.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm a subscriber.
Yeah, George's a subscriber.
I love it.
We have about 17 listens so far,
Oh.
all in the United States, so we're excited.
Hey.
And as soon as we leave here today, I'm going to zoom over to my office and record our first full episode of Live Your Nest Life. It is available on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor FM, all the platforms out there. This episode is slated to drop on Monday, March 18th. And so, yeah, Monday you can listen to the first full episode of our podcast. Super excited to bring it to you guys. We have 2 RAs say that we're going to be interviewing about roommates and what life on campus is like. So yeah, excited to share that news.
Nice.
I think you meant May 18th.
Yeah.
What did I say?
You said March 18th, which
Yeah.
was that's when the world closed. So I think that's what you're still thinking about. Yeah.
That's the last day I remember.
Yes.
Yeah. So May 18th. Thank you. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. How long is the podcast going to be? I mean, roughly, like just for the viewers out there.
You know, I listen to podcasts nonstop. We're shooting for the 15 to 25 minute range.
Yeah.
We feel like that's our sweet spot. It's a car ride to the grocery store or the post office or wherever. Short and sweet. I'm actually the host of the podcast, so you'll get to hear my voice all of the time. My mom down in Florida listened to it. She gave me some feedback.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, not so positive, but that's okay.
Oh gosh. Moms.
Moms,
Sheesh.
am I right?
Sheesh. Well, that's awesome. Thanks, fellas. Appreciate this. I know everybody else out there appreciates it. I'm sure we're going to be hammered with questions here. So it sounds like we're ready. But we want this time, just to let everybody know, we want this time just to be open and transparent. We're going to do our absolute best and share the information that we know. But we're not here to make stuff up. I just want that to be said. So, ask us your honest questions, and we're going to give you honest answers. So now is a great time to start.
All right, gentlemen. So before we get started, we're going to need to do a big hooty hoo to Amber and Emmanuel because Emmanuel just graduated in May 2020 from Kennesaw with his BA in Theater and Performance Studies.
Nice.
Hey, good job. Hooty hoo.
We're excited. We're excited about that. So we actually have a question. It's a 2-part question, Jordan. And this student is coming to grad school, but she wants to know why we need to submit transcripts if I already have a graduate degree. But can you answer that if you're transferring here as well? Why do I need to give you transcripts from all my other institutions to come to Kennesaw?
Okay. So you may have confused me more.
I'm sorry.
I think that you and this who is this? Amber? Is this Amber?
No, this is Lynn.
Lynn, okay. Amber also was doing something, graduated or something. Cool. Lynn, I don't know which graduate program you've applied to. Also, heads up, I don't represent graduate
Correct.
admissions. But some graduate programs are not only asking for your graduate degree, if you have a prior graduate degree, but they want to see all of your college transcripts. That includes undergrad, that includes if you already have graduate coursework or you've completed a graduate degree. I'll use myself as an example. Donald, I'm sure you're the same. Chris, you're the same as well. So at least for Donald and I, in doctoral programs, we had to submit our undergraduate transcript because they want to see all of that coursework. We had to submit our graduate transcript so they could see all of that coursework, make sure we met all the prerequisite requirements for the degree programs that we were applying to. They want to get the full view of your college, so post-secondary and beyond history. So that's why I imagine they're asking for those things. But they're not asking you for high school, so that's a plus, right? So just get the ones that you know you can get right now, which are all the college transcripts, and get them to the graduate school.
Perfect. And so with that, if I am just a transfer student coming in to do my undergrad and I've been to multiple institutions, do I need to submit all transcripts from all colleges?
Yes.
Okay, good talk. Great.
What I always have said since the beginning of my career, which is now 15, 16 years in, is you need to submit a transcript from every institution you've ever attended since high school. So every institution you've ever attended since high school. The most I've ever seen, 12. 12 different institutions. That's a lot. Time to hang it up. Yeah. But no, just kidding. But no, that's a lot, right? So hopefully you don't have 12 you have to submit. But if you've been to multiple institutions, we need to see one from every institution, because those institutions that you were transferring from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, they may not have, the fourth one may not have taken all of the credit from the second and the third one, so on and so forth. We want to evaluate your college transcript to KSU standards, and that's part of our regional accreditation as well.
And speaking of transfer students, we have a Transfer Student New Student Orientation Day. So transfer students, you are also required to attend orientation. So sign up for that and we'll get you all set up. And what happens is, so we know that you're waiting on transcripts to come in. So when the registrar's office sees that it's your orientation day, they automatically go ahead and review those evaluations first for those students. So it's a great way to go ahead and get those evaluated. So transfer students, make sure you sign up for orientation also.
Nice.
Great. Okay. This is a housing question. My daughter was accepted to Thrive. Will housing be available for her within the Thrive housing? So can you talk about living, learning communities? And Chris, do you know enough about Thrive to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah. So we have, in housing, we have living, learning communities. And these are clustered housing, let's call it that, where students who have similar academic interests or similar personal interests, they submit an application to the housing portal, they apply to be a part of an LLC, and then we have campus partners that review these applications, and then students are offered a spot within the LLC. If you have been accepted into the Thrive LLC, which you should have gotten an email through the housing portal that says, congratulations, you've been accepted, there is a bed for you within the Thrive LLC. Christina Uwe, if you're watching or not, she's our person within the department that manages that entire process. She's worked with our campus partners very closely to make sure we don't over-accept LLC students. So again, if you have been accepted into Thrive and you have accepted that offer, there is a bed for you. We haven't oversold our LLCs at all. We have some really great LLCs. We have an engineering community down in Marietta. We have an honors community on both campuses. We have a first-generation student population on the Kennesaw campus. And then the Thrive program here in Kennesaw is actually a part of a larger program here at Kennesaw State called Thrive. And so that opportunity is for a very select few students who apply and get into that program. It's a great opportunity. Congratulations on getting in. So yeah, if you've accepted that offer, there's a bed for you.
Great, thank you. Okay, Donald, we need some myth busting.
Oh.
There's a rumor out there.
Ready to bust it.
Watch out. There's a rumor out there that classes for fall for freshmen are already full. Can you tell me how to register for classes?
Yes.
And what's going on?
Okay, we're going to boop, boop, knock those myths down. So that is so not true. So currently, so first year students, you will register for classes at orientation. We have not had orientations yet, so those classes are open. So Kennesaw, we have a great academic affairs, and we spread classes out so that students can register for those throughout the summertime. And so if we are expecting you to come to Kennesaw, there will be a class for you. And so students, like as I mentioned before, when you come to orientation, have your pre-advising, you'll be able to meet with your advisor. They'll go over class schedule with you. Also during orientation, we have group advising. So you have an opportunity to talk with an advisor in a group setting, and they also go over classes. And then you're registered for your classes during that time. So we will have classes for you. There will be classes for you. Whether you're on the first day of orientation or the last day of orientation, there will be classes for you to sign up for. So definitely want to knock that myth down.
That one's busted.
Nice.
Busted.
Yeah.
I wish there was a.
Busted.
Can we get it? Yeah.
I wish there was like a boom boom, a graphic on the right.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Okay, Jordan, we have an admissions question.
Oh, sheesh.
Is this a myth?
I was
Do we have
hoping.
to bust? Now I feel like we all need one of those.
I was really hoping today was just going to be housing and orientation.
I'm
This is
trying
how I
to
was
spread
gonna
it
be
out.
here, you
Spread the
know,
love
like
over
a
here.
gargoyle or something.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So my son graduated in 2016 and goes to college, but does not yet have 30 credit hours. Does that make him a freshman or a transfer student? And what do you need to come into Kennesaw?
Question.
I got it. Okay. No myth in this one. Your student is a transfer freshman. Don't let the freshman part of transfer freshman confuse you or concern you. If your student does not have 30 transferable credit hours completed at the time of application, and based on the year that you told me your student graduated, so it still hasn't been over 5 years, if your student is applying to Kennesaw State, we're going to need the college transcripts and we're going to need a high school transcript to be able to evaluate them. Currently, we don't need to look at SAT or ACT scores. That's for fall 2020. But past that, if your student's applying for a future term, spring 2021 and beyond, we would need to see an SAT or an ACT score. They may have one from back then, from back when they were in high school, from 2016. That's still an acceptable score, still usable today. But just know we need the college transcripts, we need the high school transcript, and then we need test scores if your student's not applying for summer 2020 or fall 2020.
Great. Thank you. Okay, Chris, housing mythbuster.
All right. Yes.
Your chance.
Is it possible that first year housing on both campuses is full and will stay full?
So is it possible?
Yes. The myth is, or the rumor is, first year housing on both campuses is already full and nothing else is going to open up.
Busted. Yeah. First year housing is not full yet. I spent the entire morning looking at numbers to make sure. On Monday, we have another round of first year time tickets opening, and I went line by line to make sure we have enough rooms. I could spit the numbers out. We have several hundred beds left on the Kennesaw campus available to first year students. In Marietta, we have about 150 beds. Don't let that freak you out because the numbers of y'all coming in next week are not that high. So first year housing is still available. Is there a chance that we'll get full on both campuses? Yes, absolutely. We might get full on both campuses. And we have a waiting list system in place where if you log into the housing portal and it says we have no beds available for you, you can add yourself to a wait list. And from there, our staff, Allison, Jacob, Clayton, if you're watching, you guys will place students off of the wait list. You'll get an email with a room offer. You may get an email from me with a room offer. We work very hard to place students off of the wait list, but we're not there yet. For first year students, we are not there.
Great.
Busted.
Clayton's on here. I just saw him pop in.
Oh,
so
good.
He gets kudos today.
I told
Nice.
him not. I told Clayton, don't mention yourself. Don't tell him you're there.
So Clayton is not here.
Clayton
but he
is
might
not
be there.
here. That is a myth.
Okay, Donald.
Oh.
We have a question about how to start orientation if you want to speak to an advisor. And I think I worded that incorrectly. So let me try this again. We would like to speak to an advisor prior to orientation. How do we do that?
I'm so glad you asked. So, 2 weeks out from your orientation, you will receive an email with the pre-orientation checklist. The number one item on that checklist is how to meet with my advisor. We have great advisors at Kennesaw State University who are ready to talk with you. And so there'll be we'll have in there exactly how you can contact them, how to sign up for an appointment. So you'll receive that 2 weeks out from your orientation. We try to make it within that time frame because we do have thousands of students coming to orientation, and we want you to be able to, so they know that within a 2 week span, the person's coming to orientation, they like to meet with them during that time. And so we will send that out to you. And if you need anything, you go to advising.kennesaw.edu if you need any immediate assistance.
Donald, can we tell something really cool that you and I have been working on with some other people? So the first really big email for those that have signed up May 28th and May 29th is coming to you tomorrow. So if you're in those first two groups for orientation, May 28th, May 29th, check your email tomorrow. And all of this stuff that Donald's been talking about will be in that email.
2 weeks out.
So boom, there you go.
Bam, check your email. Don't
Inside
forget.
info, that's why you watch Facebook Lives.
I have a question. Does it get sent to the student, the parent, both?
That's a great question.
That's a great question.
Don't be a troll. So that email gets sent to, students will receive an email 2 weeks out, parents will receive an email 1 week out from the orientation.
Nice.
Great. We have another question for housing.
Yes.
Can you explain how the time tickets work for room selection? My time ticket opens at 2:30.
Today? Well, you can't answer. Why am I asking?
Is this
Yes. So
2:30 military time?
I will assume that it's 2:30 today. So here in about 15 minutes. I don't know what time it is. The time ticket. So we have a really slick system this year. I've used the example of cars going onto a highway. So when it's heavy traffic season, there's an on-ramp with a green light, and it's going to let you know when you can get onto the highway. It blocks you if it's not your time. The time ticket system is just that. Our housing portal is built to sustain a certain number of users at any given time, and so we use time tickets to just release people in a little bit at a time so that your experience is as great as it can be. So that time ticket was issued to you based on the date and time you signed your housing agreement. And so depending on your classification, if you're upper class or first year, that will dictate what you see when your time ticket arrives. If you're an upper class student, you're going to be able to add yourself to our upper class wait list. If you're a first year student, you'll be able to go in there and select your room for fall. So yeah, that's the time ticket in a nutshell.
Fantastic. So speaking of housing and getting into your rooms, you need your Talon 1 card. So Donald, can you explain what a Talon 1 card is and how do I get it if we are doing online orientation?
Yes, and Chris can talk a little bit about how it relates to housing too, but the Talon 1 card is your school ID card, necessarily. And so a lot of questions we've been receiving is, when will I receive my card? You don't need it until you're on campus. And so our Talon 1 office, we have some great staff over there, and they've been working to figure out a plan for students to implement that card. But I'm sure Chris knows a little bit more, so I'm going to turn it over to him.
Yeah, so we have several really great members on our move-in team. Kelly Johnston, Michael Fellows, Russell Langley, if you're out there watching, what's up? We don't know exactly how those cards are going to get into your hand before August, but we have a couple different things that we're talking about right now. So just know, like Donald said, you don't need it until move-in day if you're an on-campus student, or the first day of classes if you're a commuter student. But that team is working on a couple different strategies to get those cards to you. You may receive it on your move-in day. There may be an appointment time where you sign up for a time to come to campus and get it. We're just not sure yet which route we're going to take, trying to find the most efficient way and the easiest way for our students.
I think people are just desperate to get a discount at the movie theaters now that they're back open.
I get a discount?
Yeah, that's what I think. Like a college discount, you get a college discount.
What if I'm not
You're
a
telling
college
me,
student?
look, I'm 37 years old, and I flash my ID, get a college discount. Bojangles, 10% off. Hello.
What?
Yep, welcome. But no, you get all sorts of discounts at college ID. I think that's what they want.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Sure.
Right? Think back to when we were in college, like, undergrad.
Yeah, back in the 90s.
Back in the day.
I was in the 2000s.
All right,
Early 2000s.
everyone. Okay, so Jordan, this is for you.
Yep.
I am a potential dual enrollment student who is getting ahead for next year.
Sweet, good for you.
Do I apply as a freshman or as a transfer?
Is the student currently enrolled at KSU or not? Just say no. Okay, so if you're outside of Kennesaw State University, even if you're inside Kennesaw State University, matter of fact, doesn't matter. You're going to apply as a new freshman, cause, and this is what I'm going to give you, and you may feel differently, that's fine. but you've yet to graduate high school, or you're just now graduating high school. Depends on where you're going to high school. But you're just graduating high school. You have college credit through dual enrollment. That's cool, and you've earned that credit. But you have not been a degree-seeking student yet in college. You have yet to graduate high school, or you're just now graduating high school. So if you want to come to Kennesaw State, we want you to apply as a new freshman because, primarily, we want you to go to new student orientation and get that full freshman experience. That way you're able to really transition as well as possible, as best as possible, to Kennesaw State University, and that's going to be by being with other first-year students. So, boom.
Bam. Okay, housing question.
All right.
And then, Donald, you may want to jump in about why orientation is located where it is on what day. So, Chris.
Yes.
If I attend Marietta campus, so I'm assuming major, if my major is on Marietta campus, why can I not live at Kennesaw if I can take classes on both campuses?
Okay, this is a great question. Full disclosure, we've had the Marietta campus live-on requirement for the better part of a decade now. And one of the reasons that was implemented way back when was because of the rigor of the academic programs on the Marietta campus. It's not saying that Kennesaw is not as difficult, but the Marietta programs require close contact with your professors, your advisors, your colleagues who are also taking the same classes as you. All the research shows that students who live together during their first year of college perform better academically. They graduate faster or on time than some of their counterparts. They have better grades. So the Marietta campus, way back when, we decided to keep that first year live-on requirement in place because of the rigor of the program, and you're going to do better being around students who are taking the same classes. I'll be honest, I was a fisheries and wildlife biology major in undergrad. I would have never succeeded in Calc A. I took pre-algebra, got a D in it, and the calculus classes that you're going to take your first year, I'm making an assumption you're engineering, maybe your architecture, you're going to want people who are studying the same thing, doing the same homework, taking the same tests, because it is difficult. And I know I would never even pursue a degree like that, so kudos to you.
Yeah, and just going off the orientation, why are there specific dates for orientation, especially if it's virtual? Great question. So just going off the same thing as Chris was mentioning, so based on the advising structure, we want students to be advised by their advisor. And so with that, we have so when it was in person, it was based on the campus, and that campus is based off of the majors. And so we have students being advised by their colleges on that specific day. We are still keeping up with that. And so there are some days that are all major days, and there's days that are specific major days. And so that's why when you go into sign up for orientation, you'll select your major, and that will lead you to the open dates for that particular campus.
Okay, Donald, so you were talking about orientation, and we know it's going to be online for this summer. So will the dates be the same, and is the cost lowered, and is there a refund if I've already paid?
Someone has not checked their email. So check your email. Check your Kennesaw email every day. If you paid before there was a fee adjustment, you received the email. Just go ahead to Kennesaw, go to your email, and you'll check that out. So for those who have not checked their email, so if you paid before there was a fee adjustment. So before, when it was still in person, there was a fee for in person, and then we have a virtual fee. So the fee will be adjusted to that virtual fee. So anyone who paid before that fee adjustment, you will be receiving that fee adjustment back on the account that you paid with before fall classes start. And so yes, and if you signed up for May 28th, your orientation day is still May 28th. And so on that day will be a live orientation, and then you have an opportunity to meet with your advisor, meet with our great orientation leaders, hear from campus partners, and register for your classes on that day. So your time ticket will coincide with your orientation day.
Fantastic. Okay, so I'm a student who does not live around Kennesaw. How do I know that everything is getting done that needs to be done before classes start? So Jordan, can you talk about the checklist, our next steps portion that freshmen should be looking for?
Yeah, and I'll talk about the pathway to enrollment as well. So if you're an admitted student, or sorry, let me start with an applicant. If you're an applicant to the university, you can go in and check your status at any time. You go to admissions.kennesaw.edu. On the left-hand side of the screen, there is a check your status button. Okay. If you've been admitted to the university and you need to know what you do next, like sign up for orientation, sign up for housing, all of those big things. Fill out your FAFSA if you haven't done it yet. I saw some comments the other day on a Facebook group about immunization records and why do you need these things. I think we're living through moments of why we need to know these kinds of things. So we have this handy dandy website that is called Next Steps, and so it's on our admissions website under admitted students. There's a whole Next Steps portion, and you can go through, and we're going to drop that web link here in the Facebook Live, but you can go through and see all of the next steps that you need to do to ultimately enroll at Kennesaw State University. Along with that, if you log into AlExpress, we have something called Pathway to Enrollment. And Pathway to Enrollment helps you know that you've filled out things like the FAFSA and that it's been applied to your account, that your immunization records are in, things like that. So it's going into your actual student file, and you can see that as a checklist using the Pathway to Enrollment to make sure that you've done certain things. So I want to say this, and a lot of times I think what I'm hearing is mainly this disconnect that exists between students and parents. We get a lot of questions from parents. How does my student know what to do next? And really the question is probably more, why isn't my student talking to me, and why am I not aware of these things, right? And I myself, full disclosure, have a college-age student. So you parent how you want to parent. I prefer to pester. I'm just kidding. But I do nudge. You can call it nudging if you'd like. I nudge my oldest daughter a good bit, and I ask specific questions. And I think it helps probably because I work in higher education, so I know to ask her about specific things and certain ways to ask her and ask if she's looking at things. The biggest things you need to do as parents is ask your student, and Donald already talked about it earlier, are you checking your Kennesaw email? Are you checking also the email that you applied to the university with? So for instance, admissions, we're going to email your student to their Gmail or their Yahoo or whatever they have, their Netscape, I don't know what old emails you've got, AOL. My wife still has an AOL, so there you go. But they need to be checking the email that they applied to the university with, because admissions is primarily sending information to that email. There's a transition that happens as you move between admissions and orientation and housing, where the student is going to get emails to the Kennesaw email address. So they need to start checking, as Donald said earlier, their Kennesaw State email address on the daily, right? That's where I feel like really the biggest disconnect is that students aren't quite used to checking email on a daily basis, not like adults, right? Like we're like full-blown adults. Because we're having to do it for work, we're having to do it for all sorts of other things, or just to get our coupons for Lululemon, whatever. But you need to ask your student to check their email. That, I think, is one of our biggest issues, because we are inundating your student with next steps. We're telling you about housing information that's coming out, about orientation information, financial aid, advising, just so on and so forth is coming to your student's email. They need to actually stay on top of it, because that's a early lesson they need to learn transitioning into college.
Yeah, and I think the easiest thing is to put the email on your phone. Most college students have a cell phone that have mail capabilities. Just go ahead and add that account to your cell phone. The emails will get pushed to you. You can't miss it. I mean, it's really, have your student do that, put it on their phone. On the housing side, we email all the time. Just today, Heather and the Talon 1 staff, they got a phone call from a parent. Student had a time ticket that was emailed to them. They didn't read it. They didn't log in to go pick their room, and they didn't get their first choice of housing. Everybody was upset, but we're all adults, so we've got to read our emails starting now to your KSU student email address.
Great, thank you. Okay, I have some housing questions.
Great.
They're going to be quick, one answer.
Rapid fire.
But Jordan, then after that, I want you to talk about your crystal ball with what we may experience in the fall.
Really?
So before we go to Jordan,
let me get it ready.
Here's my quick housing question.
Shine it up.
So my son is going to be in University Village with a 4x4.
Woo!
Can he loft his bed?
Oh, first of all, congratulations. The 4x4s in University Village are like unicorns this year. Everybody wants them.
Do you get a unicorn if you live
You do not.
in one day?
No, we do not.
You don't get to ride a unicorn class? That'd be cool.
So the University System of Georgia, they put out a bed lofting requirement or actually limitation. There was a student who was seriously injured in a lofted bed at Georgia Tech several years ago, and lofted beds aren't allowed now without certain requirements. They have to be installed by housing. So you cannot loft your bed, but you can buy these little bed risers. They're 6 to 8 inches tall. You buy a set of 4, you stick them underneath the feet of your bed, gives you some extra under the bed storage, but unfortunately you can't loft your bed up.
All right, here's the next one.
Oof.
Do the 2x1 freshman residence hall rooms come with a refrigerator?
They do not. They come with a microwave though, and a sink, and it has a nice little cutout space for a mini fridge in the common area where you can put your own fridge. Definitely advise roommates talk to each other about who's going to bring that fridge there. Please don't call for the exact dimensions, because you can go to the virtual tour and measure it out yourself with this cool little tool we have on there. But it will fit anywhere from a 4 to a 4.3 cubic foot fridge, which is pretty standard that you're going to find in Target or Walmart or anywhere else.
And look, you want a mini fridge for the rest of your life anyways. Like,
Right.
I actually have a mini fridge in my office that was my best friend's mini fridge in college, because I got rid of mine, or I think my dad acquired mine and put it in his office at home. And I have this mini fridge from my buddy's college days, so this thing's, you know, like...
It's seen some stuff.
This thing's like, yeah, probably. This thing's like 15, 16 years old, or maybe more. It's still kicking.
Yeah.
That's where I put my lunch. You know, that way Jacinta and Meredith don't steal my lunch. But I get to keep it in my office.
Well, and I would advise wait until those back-to-school sales
Yes.
start happening, because
Yes.
all of those college on-campus housing supplies are going to be really cheap.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, one last quick housing question.
All right.
I'm an upperclassman who is on the wait list
Okay.
for housing. When will I know when I can sign up?
Oh, I wish I knew which campus you were on, because that really depends. Kennesaw campus, the wait list is about twice as long as the Marietta campus right now. Your gender also plays a role. So we have cancellations that have been coming in, people that have a room for fall, they haven't signed their housing contract, haven't paid their fees, maybe they're transferring to a different school, any number of reasons why a room might come open. Unfortunately, I can't predict when you're going to get a phone call and an email, because your gender matters and your classification matters. So as beds cancel, if it's a female upper class Kennesaw bed, we're going to go to the first female Kennesaw person on the wait list and then just go down from there. I would say if your wait list number is in the triple digits already, you know, you're gonna wait a little bit longer. But again, we have about 3 months before school starts, and we will move through several hundred people on the wait list each summer.
Great. But now I have one more housing question.
Great.
Before Jordan speaks about his crystal ball. I toured the residence hall on my tour, and it had a refrigerator and towels in the room. That is not to be expected, correct?
Correct. That's what we call a model room or a showroom. So Meredith and her team of tour guides, they tour you guys through there. We really do that as an example of what you could do in that space when you move in. So your room will come not decorated. There will not be a fridge in there. You're going to have that microwave, the countertops, the sink. You'll provide your own bathroom decor, your bedroom decor. The bare bones basic furniture is going to be there for you, but then everything else is up for you to decorate.
Great. Now we have one last
All
housing
right.
question. KSU encourages renters insurance. How much do you suggest?
Please, for all the parents and students watching, purchase renter's insurance for yourself. Every year we have accidents. Students cause floods in the residence halls. If your student is found responsible for something like that, then the insurance companies will come to you looking for compensation. Can't get into specifics, but we've had a couple incidents this year that we're still working with insurance companies on. I would recommend going through, if you have a homeowner's policy, adding your student onto that and then covering $25,000 to $50,000 worth of liability coverage. We do see claims bigger than that, but it all depends on the severity of the damage and what's going on. But please, at a minimum, just get bare bones renter's insurance, $25,000 to $50,000 in liability. I think that'll be safe for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it for the housing questions
All right.
now. So Jordan, can you tell me what your crystal ball may say and what students may experience in the fall?
Let me find where I put it. You know. So consulting my crystal ball as I do every morning and all throughout the day, we're all getting these questions all the time about what is happening for fall. Are we going to be in person? Are we going to have to stop buying so much lotion because we're washing our hands all the time, and everything's going to be back to normal? We being Kennesaw State University as well as the University System of Georgia, so our large governing body for all public institutions in the state of Georgia, all public 2-year community colleges and 4-year institutions. We are meeting almost constantly. I know there are definitely, I'm in meetings a few times a week, and as many of us are, and then our leadership daily, the USG daily, and working through scenarios for what fall could look like. Whether we're going to be fully in person, traditional courses taught on campus, so a traditional delivery of courses taught on campus, have students living on campus, eating on campus, all of those kinds of things, to we're going to be fully online for the fall, and having a series of things that we would do to prepare to do that. Or it's going to be a mixture of the two, a hybrid, if you will, of either starting back in the fall and going online, much like we had to do this spring, or vice versa. So right now, we don't know anything, but rest assured that we, as well as the University System of Georgia, have been planning for this really since this started. So it's not like we started planning a week or two ago. When really everything started to shut down across the United States, and particularly here in Georgia, we were already working on contingency plans for the summer, which we're in right now, all the way through the fall and beyond. So it's not like these are haphazard things that come together and we just say, okay, go do this. So when we know this information, which this information will really come down on how we're going to conduct the fall semester, really, if you want to think about it generally. This information is going to come from the University System of Georgia in conjunction with all of the public institutions in the state. And our governing body, the USG, as well as our leadership, are consulting with the Georgia Department of Health, Public Health, and with the CDC and with state government to ultimately determine what is the right course of action for our institutions and most importantly for our students. So rest assured, when we know, it's going to be like we're shooting off fireworks, because every outlet that we've got to let you know the news, we're going to fly planes over your house with banners at the end, telling you we're in person for fall, or we're not, check your computer, whatever it's going to be. You're going to know, because we're going to be on Facebook Live. We're going to do Instagram Lives, Instagram takeovers.
It's going to be like our Declaration Day.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's
we're
true.
We're gonna release that owl.
It's like the Independence Day movie.
Some black
Will
and gold
Smith,
smoke.
That other guy, and whoever the president was, I can't remember his name. And we're going to be telling you we've defeated the aliens, and okay. So it will be blasted out there. Yeah. Chris is going to drive an ice cream truck through your neighborhood, giving out free owl pops and telling you we're back in person, something like that. So anyways, that's what we're going to be doing. Donald, what are you going to do to tell people?
Retweet whatever you ask for.
Nice. Well done. Well done.
Fantastic. Okay, so speaking of ice cream pops, I'm getting kind of hungry. So Donald, can you tell me, how does a meal plan work? Where do we sign up for that?
Oh, I'm going to have to turn that over to Chris.
So there's this stuff called food. And I work underneath the campus services umbrella, and I promise you this one thing. If you come and live on campus, you will automatically get a meal plan. You'll choose the right one that fits you best. If you're a commuter student, you can opt into a meal plan. You will not be disappointed. We have 2 amazing dining halls. We have Commons on the Kennesaw campus, Stingers down on Marietta. I don't know the specifics by heart, but if you go to dining.kennesaw.edu, you'll see a section for residential meal plans. I know that there should be about 3 options for underclassmen if you're 0 to 59 credit hours, maybe 3 options for upper class if you're 60 plus. Don't quote me on anything. There's different pricing tiers. If you want an opt-in plan, there's different. You can have a meal plan credit, dining dollars, K-Cash, and you can use that on our on-campus eateries like Chick-fil-A, Panda Express. But definitely go to dining.kennesaw.edu. That should answer all your questions.
We're going to drop that link.
Okay,
so they
perfect.
can have it
Nice.
too. Speaking of deck days, it ends tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Oh,
Perfect.
5 p.m.
Which time
Eastern,
zone?
Central,
Which time zone?
Pacific.
Just keep posting
Whatever
until
Hawaii zone?
9 p.m. and then you'll have it covered.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Oh,
Yoy.
yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
Jordan, we have an admissions question. How does the core GPA, or how is the core GPA calculated? If I have an 89.3 in English, is that a B or is that an A?
It's a B.
B. So how
Yeah.
do we calculate those?
Yeah, you would know that from your math class with the rules of rounding up. Bam. Okay, so we're looking at 5 core subject areas, okay? 5 core subject areas. That's your math, science, social science, foreign language, and English. Those are the 5 core subject areas. You need at least 17 of these specific credits across the board to be admissible to a University System of Georgia school. If you are a Georgia student, you are already hyper aware of that. You should be, or be mad at your high school counselor because they didn't do their job. No, you should be fully aware of what it takes to be admissible to a University System of Georgia school. So we're looking at your academic core, and that's those 5 core subject areas. We're going to take the grades that you received, the numeric grades that you received, straight off of your transcript, and we're going to build a Ksu Admissions Gpa for you. So if you live in a district that gives you rigor weight by AP, IB, honors classes, dual enrollment classes, and you get an extra 5 points or 10 points, or 7 points in some cases, right? Built into each numeric grade, and that's listed on the transcript. That's how we're going to take it. If you live in a district that does not add the rigor weight to each numeric grade of your academic classes, then we're going to take the grade that's straight off of the transcript. So if you made an 89 in English, you have an 89. That's a B on most grading scale standards. Matter of fact, I don't know any A's that started at 89, so just giving you a heads up. Could be on like a 7-point grading scale, and A's start at 93. So anyways, okay. That is what we're looking at. Hopefully that makes full sense. If you go out to our website, admissions.kennesaw.edu, you click on freshman as the student type, you're going to see all of the credit that we look at. And also we have a link there to the University System of Georgia's Staying on Course Guide. And that's a guide. So if you're out there, you're a sophomore, junior, need to know which classes you need to take to make sure you're admissible to a USG institution. You can look at Staying on Course. We refer to it all the time in admissions, and that's going to keep you on track to graduate with a college preparatory degree or diploma.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, Donald. I feel like you haven't had a lot of love recently, so we have
It's
a
okay.
question for you. Since we're going to online format of orientation, what should we expect and what should we have ready by our computer?
Yes, great question. So as I mentioned, so you will receive an email 2 weeks out from your orientation. So the first portion is a pre-online orientation module. And you have to go through this. It's kind of like a little small course. There'll be quizzes and everything that test you on things you should know to get you ready for your orientation day and for your first day of classes. And then on your actual orientation day, there will be a live orientation session that you'll be having. And so we just always recommend that you have already thought about what classes you kind of want to take, have a notepad available just so you can take notes when you're talking with advisors, when you're talking with orientation leaders, or hearing things from different campus partners. And so just bring yourself and whatever device you're going to be watching on, whether it's your laptop, tablet, or your laptop, or your phone.
Perfect. Great. So Mickey was asking if she could come on a tour. Can she do that right now?
You can tour yourself, yeah. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Mickey, I talked about it at the very beginning. Right now we're not offering on-campus tours that are led by our incredible campus tour guides. What you can do is go to our brand new virtual tour, and I promise you're going to be blown away by what you can do in this interactive virtual tour. So it's as easy as going to visit.kennesaw.edu and clicking on the virtual tour. It's going to take you to our virtual tour website, so check that out. You're more than welcome to come up to campus. We have campus maps that are available there on kennesaw.edu. We also have some kind of self-guided tour options that are on our visit website to help you guide yourself around campus. So if you want to show up and just walk around, you're more than welcome to do that. Use the map, park and visitor parking, and you'll be good to go. But otherwise, do the virtual tour right now. As soon as we are able to offer on-campus tours again, and trust me, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. We want to do it as soon as we can, as safely as we can. We're going to have those dates available on our website. You'll be able to register for them and come on to campus.
Great. And we've already dropped the link for that virtual tour. Boop. Awesome. Can you talk about Scholarship Universe?
Yeah. Anybody else want to talk about it? I'll gladly talk about it.
Hey, that's all you.
I'll talk about it. Scholarship Universe. I love it. So Kennesaw State, the way that we do scholarships in a nutshell, we have a scholarship office, and they maintain the university-wide and departmental scholarships and honors college scholarships, and they have the centralized application for all these different scholarships at the university. We have over 200 different scholarships available at Kennesaw State University. But on top of those scholarships, which the scholarship application opens every academic year in November and closes on March the 1st. So that was this year. Application closed March the 1st. Right now, different committees are deciding who's getting the KSU-specific scholarships. Okay, and just for everybody, because I always get this question, your student will be emailed, so they need to check their
Email.
That's perfect.
Reading practice.
Yes, the Kennesaw email. So they need to check their Kennesaw email.
That was a trick question.
That was great. Yeah, it was good. There was too many answers available, right? All of the above. No, they need to check their Kennesaw email because that's where they're going to find out about scholarships, as well as check their Owl Express account. So since that application is closed, where can you go to look for additional scholarships? Kennesaw has made it easy for you. If you go to Google, right, our brain that is on the internet that we trust, if you go to Google, you're going to find tons of different websites out there that have information about university scholarships. Who do you trust? Okay, I get that. And I could tell you some of those ones to trust. But what we've done to make it simple for you is you go to our website, kennesaw.edu, and you can actually go to financial aid and go to Scholarship Universe. We're going to drop the link in here for you, but it's as easy as going to kennesaw.scholarshipuniverse.com. Scholarship Universe is a portal that our students can log into, whether you're a new incoming student or you're a current student, and fill out an application and then be paired up with all these different scholarships that are out there, be considered, and these scholarships have been vetted by Kennesaw State. So when you get one of these scholarships, which is awesome, it's going to be applied to your student account. It's less for you to have to do. But we wanted to make it easy. We wanted to make sure that there was a site that you could trust, and one that you knew had been vetted by Kennesaw State, and that's Scholarship Universe. So again, kennesaw.scholarshipuniverse.com, that's where you go.
Great, thank you. So speaking of applying for scholarships, you probably need Wi-Fi. So does Kennesaw provide free Wi-Fi?
Is this a housing question? Or?
I think it's kind of
cable.
Okay,
Ooh,
great.
nice.
Yeah, so that would fall under housing. So yeah, the KSU as an institution, they have a great campus wireless internet. You can get it pretty much everywhere. If you're walking around campus, you can connect to the KSU network. It's fantastic. Within the housing community, we found that our students had higher demands for the quality of internet, if that makes sense, because they were living there. They're streaming on their devices. They're playing games. And so we have our own housing network, which is provided by a third-party company that guarantees 100 megabits download and 20 megabits upload consistently. You can have up to 7 active devices on that network, and they guarantee that download speed on all 7 devices at the same time. We've had this company for a year. It's been great. Very few complaints about Wi-Fi. But with that, we had to cut cable. So we did surveys for the last 7 years of our students. Do you watch cable TV anymore? Actual plug a cable into a TV, do the channel setup thing, and students didn't watch cable. They were streaming everything. They have their parents' Hulu's accounts, Netflix, YouTube TV, whatever it is, they were streaming everything. So we made the decision to cut cable and provide a much better Wi-Fi network so that students can stream literally whatever they want. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Nice. I forgot about the channel surfing thing.
Yeah,
like having
right?
to program your TV. Wow.
You plug
I
up the
remember that
cable,
now.
do the channel search, and then boom.
Yeah.
Dang. The old days.
We have one last question. It's pretty quick. It's about meal plans again. Will freshman students be assigned on orientation day, or can you go back in later to
For
get
meal plans?
Yes.
Yep. So during the orientation day, you will hear from Tiffany Hartz, who is a representative for Campus Services, and she'll be talking about dining. She'll go over a little bit about the meal plans and where you can find out additional information for that. Just stay tuned. If you're coming to orientation, we have way more information for you and updated information. So we're going to save some of that for your orientation day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, fellas, I've thoroughly enjoyed spending part of my afternoon with both of you. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you.
And we always close with a hootie hoo and allies. Are you ready?
Sure.
Yes.
Wait, right over the eyes? Is that how this goes?
Yeah, you do it that way.
Okay.
You do it that way. I like it. Okay.
All right.
So bye, everybody. Let us know if you have any other questions posted here in Facebook Live. We'll answer them later on. And a hootie hoo.
A hootie hoo.